Hey guys, Jfarr here. In this video we'll cover everything to know about missions, including the Banditcamp, Outpost, Stables, and the Fishing Village NPCs, along with how to successfully complete each mission. Missions are a relatively new addition to the game, and will therefore be expanded upon within the future. I'll post any updates within the description and a future missions guide video when the system has been expanded. Let's look at the current mission traders found within the game. You can find 8 mission traders within the safe zones, however only 4 of them are functional. The 4 traders in total will provide you with 11 missions, all giving you different rewards. Missions require you to open a dialogue window with the NPC and select the right path to accept it. Once you have a mission, you can see its status by looking at the UI in the top left or opening your inventory and clicking the missions tab. You can redo failed missions after 5 minutes, which is caused by running out of time or dying when retrieving an unharvestable item. You can go back to that NPC to retry it. Be careful on missions that require you killing animals, since you'll be hostile to safe zones for a short period of time after dealing damage. Check the top right of your screen to see if you have a red crosshair icon, which means you are hostile. Starting off, we have the mission traders found at the Banditcamp. Let's first look at the Lumberjack, which offers 3 missions. The NPC can be found at the red building directly across from the casino and next to the building supplies NPC. Walk up to him and open the dialogue menu to accept your first mission. Once accepted, the mission requires you to go to a nearby forest and find the vodka bottle within a small stash. A timer will appear below the mission's objective, indicating how long you have left before you fail the mission. You can easily find where to go by looking at your map and locating the blue icon. The compass at the top of your screen will also display the blue icon, making it hard to miss. Once you have retrieved the vodka bottle, return back to the Lumberjack trader to hand it in. You'll be rewarded a metal hatchet, which is an incredible trade when starting out. After the Lost Bottles mission, you can continue the dialogue to accept the Collect Vood mission. You are required to harvest 2,000 wood. This is made much easier by the fact we were just given a metal hatchet and the mission isn't timed. The game does provide you with a mission marker to guide you to the forest you need to reach. I'd recommend staying close to the safe zone and harvesting the trees just outside with your hatchet. However, if it looks too risky, you can harvest the trees within the safe zone with your rock. Return to the Lumberjack with your wood to receive a crossbow and 15 wooden arrows for your reward. Finally, we have the Wildlife Cull mission. You'll be required to kill 3 animals of any kind, which you can do with your newly acquired crossbow or hatchet. The mission is also not timed, as it will take a while to find these 3 animals to kill. Once you have killed the animals, return to collect a Lumberjack hoodie, pants, and bucket helmet as your reward. The miner NPC can be found at the bottom of the casino and currently doesn't supply any missions, likely being a placeholder for future updates. The Outpost contains 2 mission NPCs that open a dialogue window. However, they currently don't have any missions and are a placeholder for future updates. The Hunter NPC, like the Lumberjack, will provide you with 3 hunting related missions and are located at every ranch monument. The 3 missions include Boar Hunt, Deer Hunt, and Vagabond Treasure. Unlike the Lumberjack, you can select which mission you would like to complete. The first accepted mission involves finding and killing a boar. Make sure you have a ranged weapon, as boars will attack if too close. It will take 4 wooden arrows with a bow or 3 arrows with a crossbow to take one down. Now return to the Hunter NPC and collect your reward of 100 scrap. The second mission involves finding and killing 3 deer. However, a deer is much faster than a boar, making it overall harder to take down. Once killed, return to the NPC and collect your reward of 100 scrap. The final mission is called the Vagabond Treasure mission. Once accepted for 25 scrap, you'll need to locate the toolbox container, which can be found at the blue icon on your map. The box might be quite a run, but the contents inside are well worth it. The loot is randomized, so each run of the mission will be different for everyone. However, I managed to acquire these items. Other players will not be able to steal your loot, as it's tied to your Steam ID. The Stablehand mission NPC can be found at each ranch. They unfortunately do not feature any mission quests, but will likely do so in the future. The Dive Master mission NPC can be found holding a spear and wearing diving equipment. Their missions will provide you with some of the best loot yet. however is more difficult to complete. The missions will require you to go underwater for extended periods of time. Therefore, you'll need to purchase diving equipment such as a diving mask, oxygen tank, diving fins, and wetsuit. It's also recommended to get yourself a spear gun, as one of the missions involves underwater combat. You can acquire a spear gun by finding one within a crate, with the spawn chances seen here, and craft one if you have unlocked it within a level 1 workbench tech tree for 135 scrap or a total of 155 scrap to also get its spear ammo. The first mission involves searching for and killing a shark. This is why a spear gun is recommended, as sharks can quickly kill you if unprepared. Sharks contain 148 health and can be killed with a range of weapons. Here is a list of weapons along with their damage and DPS. The jackhammer will be the overall highest DPS weapon, but the only option for range still includes the spear gun. You can locate sharks by finding a shipwreck, but the game makes it much easier for you by placing a blue waypoint icon in the area you should be looking. Tips for killing a shark include staying as far back as possible. If you can hit it at a range, it will not come to attack. Wait for it to start going straight and take a few shots at it to learn the spear bolt's speed and drop. If you get too close, it will come to attack and you'll be unable to escape. Take this unfortunate opportunity to hit it a few times to kill it quicker. Once killed, you can harvest the shark, or just return to the mission NPC to collect your rewards of 1 jackhammer, 3 medical syringes, and 25 scrap. Next, we have the underwater bounty mission. Once accepted, you must search dive sites and untie 10 crates. Once again, you will need diving equipment to complete this mission, as the underwater sites are too far down to reach without an oxygen tank. The game makes it easier to locate the initial dive site by placing a blue waypoint marker at its location, but be careful of the sharks surrounding the shipwreck. You'll need to go up to the crate and hold E to begin untying. This can leave you vulnerable to attacks from sharks or other players, so keep an eye out. You will not untie 10 crates at the first site, and you'll need to go find other shipwrecks to loot. Once you have untied all the crates, head back to the mission NPC and collect your rewards of 1 pump shotgun and 12 buckshots. The Fisherman NPC can be found at the fishing village near the water holding a fishing rod. The Fisherman missions are similar to the Lumberjack missions, as they are much easier to complete and don't require any prior equipment. Once accepted, the Tackle the Day mission requires you to locate the tackle box and return its contents to the Fisherman. This box will look like a toolbox and can be found with the blue waypoint icon found on your map. This mission will have a 1 hour time to complete. However, it should take a fraction of that time to reach. Once found, the box will contain the fishing tackle and rope, which you'll need to take and return to the NPC. The rewards for returning the items include 1 handmade fishing rod and 15 grubs. Next, we have the Go Fish mission, which requires you to use your newly acquired fishing rod to catch 3 fish. I have a complete guide on fishing which shows you the type of fish, how to catch them, and the locations they are found. However, here is a recap on how to successfully fish. Firstly, attach your grub bait to your fishing rod. Now head to the edge of the dock and hold right click to cast your line. You'll know when you can cast your rod when the buoy turns blue, which then you can press left click to cast it out. Now you must sit and wait, but once the buoy starts bobbing, you have yourself a bite. Start reeling in with S, but you might have to fight with the fish from left and right by pressing A and D. If the fish is pulling in a certain direction, attempt to counter its movements by pulling in the opposite direction. This will eventually tire the fish out, making it easier to reel in. If you attempt to pull too hard, your rod will begin to shake and eventually snap the line. You can hear what this sounds like now. It's a good tip to avoid continuously pulling in, but instead tap A, D and S buttons while countering the fish's movements, and if the rod ever looks like it's about to snap, let go of all controls until it is settled down. Once you have caught 3 fish, you can return to the NPC to complete the quest. This will reward you with 1 kayak and 1 paddle. However, it doesn't take the fish you have caught, so don't worry about losing rarer fish like sharks, salmon or smaller trout, which you can later sell at the vending machine. The final mission, called Oiled Up, requires you to head out and destroy 8 oil barrels and return with 100 crude oil. You can use your newly acquired kayak and paddle to swim out to floating trash piles to gather the crude oil. The game will display a waypoint towards the oil barrels, making them easier for you to find. You'll need to make sure you actually reach the waypoint as it's one of the mission requirements. To start paddling with the kayak, you'll need to use right and left mouse buttons to either paddle left or right. Once you have destroyed 8 oil barrels and collected the crude oil, you're ready to return back. Once you have handed over the crude oil, you'll be rewarded with 100 scrap. Missions are an easy and excellent way for any player to get tools, armour, components and scrap when starting a new wipe. Hopefully in the future more missions will be added and I'll make an extended video to cover them all. Thanks guys for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.